Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
In golf, precision is everything, on and off the course. PGA of America chose advanced 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business for smooth operations and seamless transactions. Together, we enhance ticketing and concessions for better fan experiences from gate to green. This is pro-level efficiency. This is PGA of America with T-Mobile for Business. Take your business further at T-Mobile.com/now.
Hello, everyone. It's time for Van Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanos. This is episode 445, season 18. Today's date is June 21st, 2025, and welcome to the show. On today's program, I'm going to talk about two anniversaries that are the 50th. One is the 1975 movie Jaws. And I'm going to talk about its history of the film and my memories of watching it for the first time in the theater. I've talked about this before. And also the 50th anniversary of the old Chicago Indoor Amusement Park that was located in Bolingbrook, Illinois. I've talked about this in episode 308 or something, like way back, about a couple years ago. So this is a great time to talk about that because of its anniversary this week. Okay, before I get started, I will go into a commercial break, and this program is brought to you by, and I'll be right with you. I wasn't ready. High C Peach Drink from the makers of High C, and this commercial is from 1977. Yeah, I used to love High C. I talked about this in a podcast episode before. Last week was Knee High. So, High C, it's been a while. It's still around. Okay, so sit back and relax, and we'll go back to the 1970s for the commercial from 1977, High C Peach Drink. Thank you.
If you love the taste of peaches, juicy, ripe, and sweet. If you love the taste of peaches, now High C has a treat. New peachy High C peach, you know how good it is.
You've never tasted anything like new High C peach. And every juicy peachy glassful has a whole day's supply of vitamin C.
That's peachy.
New peachy High C peach, you know how good it is.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for High C Peach Drink. High C's been around for a long time. My favorite one was orange and fruit punch. Grape was good. It used to come in cans. Remember that? It was like in the 60s and the 70s, big, like Hawaiian Punch. And then they were smaller. Then they made powders, and then like those those portable juice drinks, that comes in cartons. I didn't have that when I was a kid. Their mothers used to put for their kids in their school lunches, and then they take them over there and they drink them like that. So I like drinks like that. I have one occasionally. Hawaiian Punch, sometimes they come in a bottle, and I used to buy one like at 7-Eleven or White Hen when it was in business, and it was good. I like that very much. Okay. At the beginning of the program, I'm going to talk about, I'm going to celebrate two 50th anniversaries. One is Jaws, the movie that came out in 1975, and also Old Chicago Indoor Amusement Park that was located in Bolingbrook, Illinois. Before I get started, let's see what's going on this week. Not much. Health-wise, I'm doing okay. This coming week, Thursday, I'm going to see my urologist, for follow-up of the operation. I'm having some issues with it, so I'm going to talk to him, hopefully. Next chemo is next Monday, the 30th. This is my fourth one. Hope this one will go okay. I don't know. We will see. And also, my oncologist retired, so I'm going to go to meet my new one that day. We'll see how he is. I heard he's good. That's just, you just hear him. I like to see him, talk to him. I hope so. One last thing. When I posted about Old Chicago, I posted a photo of the parking lot of the amusement park. That was credited by a man named Jim J. Soda. I believe he passed away about a few years ago. And I still, it's credited on the photo, and I always want to credit. There are times I forget to credit, and people will send me an email, "Oh, you forgot to credit. This is my photo." And I said, "I'm sorry. I apologize." Sometimes I overlook it and I forget, but I tried the best I can just to credit, the photos. Okay. There are times that some people might be lying, but that's very rare. No, that's very rare. Okay. So I posted that picture, and it had all the cars from the 1970s, and that was very cool. Excuse me. And then people went nuts, because some people say, that's my car. I was there. Well, maybe they were. I don't know. I wasn't there. And what a crazy time. It was a great decade. It was very fun for me in a way. Also painful, but I won't go into that. So, but I like the 80s better. The early 80s for me. Late 80s was a little rough. So I posted that photo of the Old Chicago parking lot, and people went crazy. And they remember they were there the first day. Also got negative responses. That shouldn't have opened. But, at the time, it was very innovative, and it seemed like a good idea. I think it was, but, I'll get into that later. I'll explain everything. Okay, let's get started. Let's talk about Jaws. Now, yesterday on June 20th, 1975, June 20th was the 50th anniversary of the movie that was released. And it starred Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss. And directed by Steven Spielberg. I never knew Steven Spielberg until he directed this movie. He directed other movies before that, but he wasn't very well known until this came out. And then he became a household name. So the movie was based on a novel by the same name. The author's name was Peter Benchley. And he died in February 11th, 2006. And he also wrote The Deep. Remember that? It came out in 1977. The movie, that is. I think it was Jacqueline Bisset and Nick Nolte. I remember the trailers of that. Anyway, this was shot in Martha's Vineyards in Massachusetts. I always thought it was New York, but no, it wasn't that. It took place a place called Amityville Horror. That's a movie. That's another thing. Amity Island. No Ville. There's no Ville. Okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. So it was about a great white shark that was terrorizing swimmers, but in a different way. This shark was humongous and unusual for its unusual size. And the anticipation of the movie was so tense, so high of this. I won't only talk about the opening scene, but I will when I talk about my memories of that first. Okay. Now, when I lived in my old neighborhood in Ashburn, there was talk around, with the kids, and they wanted to go see the movie, and it was coming out. We didn't see it on opening day. I think we saw it the following week. And we were very young. I was about 11. Yeah, I was 11 years old, and me and my brothers want to see it. I sort of reluctant to see it, but and I remember a neighborhood kid. He lived on my block. He died a few years ago. Very sad. He was very nice, and wanted to go see the movie. I don't know who else came along. I don't know, but my mother came, because she was an adult, and so the movie was released at Fort City Cinema, number 3, at the Fort City Shopping Center on the southwest side of Chicago. Back then it was the mall has changed so much. So, but back then it was crowded and all that. So we got into our car, I believe. My mom drove. She was driving for almost a year. And we went there, and then we waited in line for tickets. Oh, I remember seeing a lot of people waiting to see, and they were excited like that. I don't know if they wore Jaws T-shirts. I think they did. I'm not sure. I don't remember. So we waited in line, got our tickets. We went into the theater, and then we found our seats, and I remember that. And then the lights went out, and then they did the previews, and they, that famous movie projector. Remember that? That's the, from General Cinema. Then the movie started, and it showed a couple. They were on the beach. It was not at night, and the woman was running down the beach. She took off her top, and they went to go skinny dipping. I think they were both drunk. I know the guy was, and when they went to the ocean, she went for a swim. That guy passed out. He was gone like that. And then she was, swimming, enjoying herself, and then all of a sudden, she got nicked. And she got, and that face of hers, I saw. Oh my God! When I saw that started my. How would I say, my PTSD or, my anxiety like that. And I saw that. And then, and she was like, and then she was trying to swim for shore. She was trying to escape, but it was a shark. And then he chased her. And then she hung on a buoy. And then the shark grabbed her again, and then she was like going around, and then she fell, and then she went into the water, underwater. When I saw that scene, that scared the hell out of me. I really did, and I was so scared. I really was, as an 11-year-old boy. Half the time of the movie, I covered my eyes with my hands. Except for see. So I'm going like I was going peekaboo, to see. Like that. Most of the movie I saw when it was about the time, when they showed the ocean, I knew I was waiting. I wasn't waiting, hoping the shark wouldn't show up, but it was like most were false alarms, and I was very scared like that, and it was exciting, but I was very frightened, and to this day, I will refuse to watch the movie. The whole thing, the beginning, I've gone through that. I can watch the beginning because that's a classic opening. But there are like scenes where there was the little boy that got eaten, devoured, and there was another guy got devoured too. And then of course the character Quinn, played by Robert Shaw, where he got devoured. Ugh. I saw parts of it. So I can't bear to watch. It was like, oh. So when the movie was over, I was like, I didn't say anything. Even my mom didn't notice. She didn't ask me, "What's wrong? Are you all right? Didn't you enjoy?" I didn't really see the movie. when she asked me that, I was scared. And that lasted for months, for a long time, for even a few years. It was a big hit, a big box office hit. People in my neighborhood went to see it again and again, maybe 3 or 4 times. It was that big a deal. Once is enough. Once is enough. I didn't want to watch it. When the sequel came in 1978, I refused to see that. I didn't want to see it. But I've seen the opening on YouTube. It was nothing. It was okay. But it's a good movie. It really is. It's a classic, and they showed it on TV last night on Channel 5, WMAQ in Chicago. That's good. They showed it 3 hours long. I'm sure it was unedited. I don't know. And I heard they made a documentary about the 50th anniversary. I would love to see that. That I would love to see. I really would. Here's something very interesting. Do you remember Laserdiscs? When Laserdisc was introduced, like in 1978, Jaws was the first movie to be released on that. It was huge. They looked like big DVD discs like that. You understand? So that was good. So it's been released on VHS. When that came out, it was very popular. Then on DVD, then on 4K, HD. It's a phenomenon, this movie. I'm not putting down the movie. The movie is wonderful. I just had a very bad experience. So, yeah. And it was the highest grossing movie at the time. Then Star Wars came 2 years later. Okay. For the cast of the movie, there was some not famous people. There was Roy Scheider, there was Robert Shaw, there was Richard Dreyfuss, and there was a mayor played by Murray Hamilton, who was the most stubborn man I ever saw on the screen. Yeah, he was a good actor. But and then there was merchandise was introduced, T-shirts. There was a Jaws toy by Ideal. Also, they made a cartoon called Jabberjaw. I like Jabberjaw. Jabber, jab, 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 Jabberjaw, jabber. I have it on DVD. It's hilarious. And Jabberjaw was like a big shark, and he laughed like Curly Howard. It's kind of dumb, but it's fun to watch. I thought it was hilarious when I was a kid. Okay, so you know what? Finally, Jaws is a great movie. I will someday get the courage to watch the whole thing. I will try, but I'm so reluctant. I think this has happened to some people where, they've seen a movie and it terrified them for the rest of their lives, And I'm not alone in this. There were a lot of people. It's not just Jaws. It's other scary movies, maybe like The Exorcist or The Omen. Or Psycho. Movies like that. Isn't that something? Okay. Right now, I'm going to play a TV spot from 1975 of Jaws. And I remember seeing these on television. So I'm going to play that. And when I come back, I'm going to talk about the 50th anniversary of the opening of Old Chicago Indoor Amusement Park in Bolingbrook, Illinois. So sit back and relax. Let's go back to the 70s, to our living rooms, watching those portable Zenith TVs of the TV spot Jaws. I'll be right back, folks. Thank you.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws. Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
From the best-selling novel, Jaws, rated PG, may be too intense for younger children.
Meta AI is the personal AI to help you with whatever you need. Plus, it meets you where you are. Not only is Meta AI now an app, but it's also on the apps you already know and love: Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger. Plus the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. It's easy to access wherever you are. So whether you're talking or texting, Meta AI is convenient to use throughout your day. Experience our newest AI that's tailored to you by downloading the Meta AI app. Try the Meta AI app today on the Apple App Store and Google Play.
Imagine this: the best pasta sauce you have ever tasted sits abandoned on a plate. Wasted sauce. That is a tragedy. If only you had used Barilla al Bronzo pasta. Its bronze-cut texture holds your sauce and scoops up every last drop. The Italians call that scarpetta. Capture sauce the Italian way. Barilla al Bronzo. Click or tap the banner to find out more.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the TV spot for Jaws from 1975. I remember this very well. I think, I don't know if they played this before the movie was released or during. Could be both. I don't know. Who knows? I'm not sure. That's enough of Jaws. Now let's go to Old Chicago. Okay. So it's the 50th anniversary. This opened on June 17th, 1975. In Bolingbrook, Illinois. The address was 555 South Bolingbrook Drive. The owner of the place, his name was Robert Brindle. And Old Chicago was a combination shopping mall and indoor amusement park that ran from 1975 until 1980. And it was built by the world's first indoor amusement park. So when it was snowing or raining or too hot, like this weekend, or any bad weather, you can still go out there to drive to Bolingbrook and go inside and enjoy whatever you want to do. It was a very huge place, and the shopping mall is like a reminiscent of the architecture of Louis Sullivan, the one who designed the Carson Peary Scott department store in the Loop. And so they didn't have big anchors stores, like JCPenney, Marshall Fields, Weebles. No, just regular stores like that. So let me give you the history of this. So Robert Brindle he got the idea after visiting Knott's Berry Farm amusement park that's in Buena Park, California. I've never been there. I wish I'd like to go someday. And he wanted to do something like that in Chicago, And like I said before, it didn't feature department stores. It just had like local shops and boutiques and stuff like that. Now, it took about a couple years, to get it together. And then, like I said before, it opened on June 17, 1975. They had a great party and invited about 10,000 invited guests. They were invited. And I bet I-55 was probably jammed up. All that. And they had a TV commercial that featured a young lady. Her name was Michelle Moth. Tap dancing on the top of the dome when it was very windy. And the cameraman, he filmed it inside of a helicopter. I wonder whatever happened to her. I'd like to see the commercial. That'd be kind of cool. Construction wasn't complete yet because they were still working on it, but it took a while. And then the last minute, more people came, or about 15,000 people came. And then in the first month of operation, in the month of June, it received 50,000 visitors each weekend. Oh, that's a lot. Oh my God. But they had problems, and I'll get to that in a moment, and it went okay until another amusement park opened, Six Flags Great America, which was Marriott's Great America first, opened the same year. Actually, it opened about a month before. Yeah, I don't remember. And sounds like bad timing to me. And would I say was it successful? Not really. No. But it was an interesting concept. It really was. So let's see what we got here. Now, it had rides over there. There was also a tragedy, like in November of that year, 1975. It was the comedy king of air. His name was Jimmy Troy. He fell 20 feet to his death from a trapeze at the circus. I'm sure people saw that. Oh, that was devastating from what I heard. Okay, so they had restaurants too. I heard the first Wendy's opened there. I believe that was true. Now, they had souvenir shops. When it opened, the admission was for just $1.50 for kids. Not bad. And then they charge you a flat fee for unlimited rides. Well, that sounds pretty good. Now, if you go these days, it's a little different. To me, if you go to Disney World, Disneyland, especially Disney World, it's kind of complicated to me. It's like, get a headache. Here are the rides they had over there. So I'm going to read them off quickly. They had the Roundup, the Tilt-A-Whirl, Chicago Bobs. I didn't know they had the Bobs there. Interesting. Scrambler, Spider. They had a merry-go-round. Monsters of the Midway, the Rotor, just like at Riverview Park. Antique Cars, Barnstormer, Crash of 29. There were bumper cars. Enterprise, Trabant. They had a Ferris wheel. Paratroopers. There was a dark ride called the Four Seasons. Yo-Yo, Toboggan, Screamer, and the Windy City Flyer. And they had a water ride called the Chicago Log Race. Plus, they had 2 roller coasters there, the Cyclone and the Chicago Loop. I posted the Chicago Loop last night. I did that. Maybe I'll try to find a picture of Cyclone. Maybe I'll post it later on. They also had a circus, vaudeville theater, haunted house, a few kiddie rides over there. They had great events. Also, they had an area called the Old Chicago Stage. That was added in 1978. And they hired celebrities to sing. Here's a partial list. I don't know if it's everybody. So they had Black Oak, Arkansas, Tommy James and the Shondells, the Coasters, Wild Cherry, play that funky music, hi boy. Willie Ames from 8 is Enough. Anson Williams, Freddie Boom Boom Cannon, Chubby Checker, Peter Tork of the Monkees, Jan and Dean, Jerry Lee Lewis, Little Richard, Shanana, the Ramones, Rex Smith, he was a big deal back then. Gary U.S. Bonds, the Shirelles, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the Hudson Brothers, remember those guys? Gloria Gaynor, the Guess Who. I think Gloria Gaynor went for the disco thing. And then the Guess Who, Rick Nelson, and the Star Wars Robots. Yeah. So, and also Wizzo, played by Marshall Bodine, had a magic shop at the mall. Yeah. I never went to Old Chicago, but my brother did. My brother, I asked him before I was going to do the podcast about the other day. I asked him, did you go to Old Chicago? He goes, yes, I went about 2 or 3 times. And I didn't know that. I guess I wasn't invited. I wish I went. But he had a good time. The last time he went there, he went for a birthday party. It was a classmate. And they had a good time like that. And I asked my brother, did you see any performers there? And he said, yes, I saw one. And that was Eddie Mecca, Carmine Ragusa from Laverne and Shirley. So, and I asked him, how was he? He was great. He was a good singer, good dancer. Yeah. Just like when he performed on TV. Yeah, he was fabulous. So, as the time went on, it didn't do very well. When Marshall Bodine had his magic trick shop, he performed tricks at downtown, at the Treasure Chest, the arcade, and the professional magic shop, downtown. He did that. So as time went on, attendance was declining very rapidly, and then from competition for Marriott's Great America, and then and then the stores started closing, and just it attracted people who want to go on the rides like that. And, and they lost a lot of money, a lot of money in days like that. So, let's see what else. So in about 1980, it closed on March 17. Now, before that, about a couple of years ago, they started closing on Mondays and Tuesdays, and then they had They had fires, and it was just a mess. Another interesting thing about Old Chicago is that Brian De Palma, the director, filmed scenes of his movie, The Fury, at Old Chicago. So, I've seen the movie once, long time ago, and, I don't know why I wanted to see it. But, since the sudden interest, great interest of Old Chicago, I might go see the movie again, rent it. Hey, it's on Netflix, streaming somewhere. And then try to find, the scenes with Old Chicago. I heard the movie was okay. It wasn't great, but I'm sure it's a classic now. So in March, the amusement park shut down, and the rides were sold. I think the Chicago Loop went to a amusement park in, I want to get this right, Salem, New Hampshire, and they had it for years, and then they got rid of it. I don't know what happened to that. I don't know what happened to the rest of them. There were plans to build a casino there, but the village of Bolingbrook, no way. They didn't want that. And then they put the building for auction. And in 1985, the building was sold. But it didn't, and then they tore it down. Recently, about 5 years ago, they were going to build an Amazon warehouse there. Didn't happen. I don't know what happened. So I don't know what's there now exactly. So that is crazy. That is one of the weirdest stories to come out of Chicago, from Vanna Chicagoland. It's Old Chicago Amusement Park. I've read comments from people for the past few days. Almost all of them loved the idea. They loved going there. They had a great time when they were kids. Others thought it was a very stupid idea to do that. Who knew? That's how it was back in the 70s. I'm thinking if it was built today, I think it would be very successful. I think it would be. I mean, we have Mall of America. They got that in Minneapolis. And also, there's a huge mall in Edmonton, Alberta, in Canada. They got a big one. I don't know if it has amusement park rides. Maybe. I'm not sure. But I heard it's huge. Okay, so I'm going to play a commercial for Old Chicago. This is from 1977. And when I come back, I'm going to wrap up the show. Okay, so sit back and relax. Let's go back again to the 70s and for the old Chicago restaurant. And this features Charlie Baffle. And I think he was the mayor of the place. So it seems. Okay. All right, so I'll be right back, folks. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. I'm Charlie Baffle, mayor of a great fun place, Old Chicago. You can live it upside down on our Loop roller coaster. Or how about our carousel? We even have lots of other rides, too, for the whole family. And the little people can have the time of their lives. And you can even see the star of the show. No, not her, silly. It's me, Charlie Baffle. We even have a full-time circus show and everything. There's even a disco party every weekend. All at Old Chicago. Yep.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial from 1977, the Old Chicago Indoor Amusement Park. This is courtesy of Rick Klein, Fuzzy TV Memories, the Chicago Television Museum. He's a great guy. He's got a great page. You can follow him on Facebook. He uploads a lot of stuff. He's also on YouTube. He's got a lot of things. I just love it. Okay, so that's it for our show. I'll do a wrap up of what I talked about. I talked about the 250th anniversaries this year. The first one is the 1975 film, Jaws. It was released on June 20th, 1975. Also, the grand opening of the Old Chicago Indoor Amusement Park that was located in Bolingbrook, Illinois. This podcast will be published later on today, wherever podcasts are found: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Good Pods, Podbean, Breaker, Overcast. You can find any apps on your phone or your tablets. Just tap on those apps, click follow. You receive notification of the latest podcast episode. You can listen to previous episodes if you like, if you have time. Especially this weekend. It's really hot. It's perfect. Also be uploaded on my blog, www.vanchicagoland.blog. I have all the episodes there. I think you sign up for your email, you receive notification. You'll listen to those, the latest podcast episode, also the previous ones. Excuse me. Also be on my YouTube channel. And again and again and again, people always ask me, where do I find your podcast? Where do I find your podcast? You can find it on YouTube. It's very easy. Find it on your desktop, your tablet, your phone, or if you have YouTube on your streaming, you can find it there. Do a search, Van Chicagoland Stories, or Pete Costanis, my name. Click subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. You can listen to all the episodes. They're all there. Even the latest one, you will receive a notification. Also, you'll be shared on my social media accounts: Facebook, X, Reddit, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Threads, TikTok, and Instagram. I will have the links there. It'll take you right there. If you have any questions, email me. I'll try to answer. Anyone who runs an account, you get some weird stuff from people, but I do my best. Let's see what else. So that's it. I will probably do another episode tomorrow. I got one part confirmed what I'm going to talk about, but I don't know the other one. I have to give it some thought. Okay. So this is Pete Costanis for Van Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. I had a great day. Everyone stay cool. Today, Sunday, and Monday, maybe Tuesday, it's going to be very hot. And in my condition, I have to stay inside because it's get too weak when I go out. So I'll find something to do. I got a ton of jigsaw puzzles to do, so I'll do that. That'll keep me occupied and work on my next podcast episode. Okay. So everyone stay cool. Drink lots of liquids, especially lemonade. I love lemonade. Okay. So here's bye-bye from me, and here is our favorite Chicago legend, the best person in the whole world, Ray Rayner, saying bye, bye, bye. Take care, everyone, and so long.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.